Alright, so this is those other two holes. I made a little patch panel here. You can see I double seamed the edges. Thinking back now, this is going to sit this way. This is a pretty good fit, man. It's pretty bang on fit there. Anyway, thinking back now, I should have bent the bottom seam first and then this seam over it, because then water would run down over this. But anyway, you can seam seal this. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. Just, I was thinking about it after the fact. But you can see that. That's a really nice fit there. Perfect fit, I think. Yeah, looks really nice. That little piece there will be easy to make as well. But you can see again, I rounded that corner off to get lots of penetration in there. Could do the bad Chad thing, I guess, again. I don't know. I tried the coat hanger on the last video and it didn't. Whatever. I can do the same thing with wire, unless it's a big gap. That's not a big gap. That's fine. But anyway, that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to tack that in and then we'll start working on this one. I got that tacked in. This little hole here, I cut that out in a couple different pieces. So what we'll do, so the best way to make a template for that, because we don't have the piece that came out, is just put a piece of scrap paper over it. Rub your hands, dirty fingers, on it. And it gives you your piece. You can see that. I'm sure you can see that. Yeah. Cut that out, trace it on the metal. So yeah, little arts and crafts. Cut out your template. Like so. That should fit. We'll trace it on the metal. We'll have to grind it around a bit. Make it a little smaller just for a gap to weld to kind of deal. But you get the drift. So you just find a piece where it fits. Simple as that. Trace it on. Use the grinder to grind it out, and you're laughing. I'm going to clean that metal first. It's easier to clean it in a big sheet like that. You know what? I'm not going to, because I'll lose my mark. Should have cleaned it first. Anyway, cut off any smallish pieces. Like this little piece, you're going to want to cut that first while you have the larger piece to hold on to. Just makes things way easier. If you want, you can cut inside the line to make it a little smaller. Here's my little piece. I'm going to want to grind off all the sharp edges. Any rough. Little piece. I gave this a slight crown. There's not much there, but I gave it a tiny bit. We always pull it back out if we have to, but it doesn't fit perfect, and I can grind it down, I guess. But what I'm gonna do is find the best spot, like maybe right there, and I'm gonna tack it and do the cut and butt. I think is the way I'm gonna do this. So I'm going to leave a little bit of gap right here at the top and at the side. I think that's probably a good spot right there to tack that. So you want to tack it where it's flush first. Do a hole in it. The metal's a little thin there. That's okay. Drop some weld on it, let it cool. Drop some weld on it, let it cool. And then bridge it. Like that. Now that's tacked. Take my magnet off. It's nice and flush, it's hot. Now I can run my zip cut down through here and start working that down. I got a nice gap at the top, which I wanted for penetration, but I'm going to get my zip cut and run it through there and tack it as I go. Let's see. So you can run it right along that line. You can see it gives you a nice gap also to get your weld in. Get a little more in there. I need a really good shop light is what I need. These I have these little portable ones I bought on Amazon, but they're not too great. Lighting is key, I'm telling you guys. There you go, that's nice. That looks nice and flush there. Get some tack there. Again, I'm going to run my zip cut along the bottom. Yeah, that's nice. Push that in. Give it a weld. Give it a little tack. Now, I get a hammer. Let's see if I can give that a little tap. You're gonna have to zip cut that a little bit right there. There we go. See how that pushed in nicely? Yeah, if anybody has any recommendations for some good portable lights, let me know, because I'm struggling with these ones for sure. And I just got them not that long ago. That didn't even tack. Give that a shot again. I'm out of juice here. That's why my welds are horrible. There you go. Now I didn't want to cut way down into here because there's seam sealer through here from the factory, I guess. So I just left it and went around. There was no rot there, so I just kind of went around it. The metal's a little thin at the top there, but that's about it. You get the gist of it. That's the last of the 2 patches on this car. I think they're going to turn out all right once I grind them down. The door patch turned out really nice. It's got gobs of weld on there, but I got to grind it down. I always put too much weld. I like to get it in there. Anyway, let me get welding, finish welding that. Oh no, I'm not done. Oh yeah, no, I'm done. That's the last 2 patches. So I'll get the weld. I'm gonna weld that around, grind it down, and get another shot for you here. Alright guys, that's the last of the patch. That's it. She's all patched up. I can start scuffing it more. I got it scuffed to 60 grit. Gonna go to, I'm not sure how, depends on how I'm gonna paint this, but that looks pretty good. Depends how I'm gonna paint this thing, of what grit I'm gonna go to. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I guess if I'm just going to Rust-Oleum it, I guess I go up to a higher grit right now because it's a primer, everything all in one. I'd like to primer the whole car first, I guess. I could get turbo cans, I guess, or something. I'd like to get a high build primer and then flatten it. Go over the whole car and flatten it down. Gets rid of all the little nicks and stuff as well. Helps out with all that little stuff, right? So I'm told. So YouTube tells me. This is, yeah, I don't have any experience with this stuff. I've done a couple little things for myself on cars, on body work and stuff, but I have no real experience. Just winging it. It's a cheap, this was a cheap enough car for me to wing it on. I got this, I traded this for an old motorcycle I had, an old Honda Shadow, so not a bad deal. So it's coming along. This side's all patched up too. This side had more patches, you can see back here as well, but it's just the bottom corners. Like I said, there was animal feces and urine, and things sat in the field for over 10 years, and then mud up in there, and the, you know, moisture from the mud and all that business. But anyway, it's coming along. Thanks for tuning in again, and following me on my process here.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, we're gonna do a little Bondo work here. This is, always make sure you stir this up really well for sure. I got myself a stainless steel piece of scrap I'm going to use as a board, some hardener, dirty old thing, and I'm going to mix it with some polyester resin to smoothen it out, give it a nice flow. I don't have a lot of experience with this stuff, but this is what I was told. 2 to 3% hardener to your filler. This is just cheap Canadian Tire for us Canadians. I don't know what the equivalent would be in other countries, but this is cheap body filler, nothing special. But yeah, I'm gonna scoop some out. I got some, I've gone around the car, I've done one coat of fiberglass on some of the stuff down under here. Some of it I just scuffed off, some of it I feathered off like this piece. But you can see the low spot didn't get sanded right, so that's, I'm gonna coat it with BODYFILLER. And yeah, so here we go. We'll mix this up and we'll get some spread on there. Like I said, I have no real experience with this stuff, so any tips you have or any pointers would be greatly appreciated. Alright, so I got this stuff mixed up to a more consistent color. and texture. So just gonna scoop some onto my board here after I clean off my mixing screwdriver. So we'll just go in here, we'll scoop some up. Best way to do this without getting all over my hands. I guess there's no best way. You don't want to put too much at a time because it does harden. You got to, depending on the amount of hardener, but you don't have a very big window to mix this stuff up. To use it, I mean, after it's mixed. That's probably enough to start with. You should probably have 2 of these. One to scoop it out with because it gets pretty messy, and then one to... So I'm going to put a little resin in there. Give it a more flowing texture so it spreads easier. Because I find this cheap stuff doesn't really spread too well. Even that little bit there made it a nice little bit soupy, which I find is better. In my vast experience at Bondo. So you don't want to stir it. Apparently you want to pull it, flip it over itself and pull the air bubbles out of it, and is what you want to really, how you mix it. Apparently. Always knead this up. This is going to be really runny. If you open it up, you know, when you open up your condiments like mustard and ketchup and stuff, and there's always that water separation. That's what you get with this if you don't knead it first. It comes out really runny. Yeah. So what they say is maybe 2%, 3% hardener to this. So what you could do is get your ball together like this, split it in half, break it, split it in half again, have it all the way like that if you wanted to, down till you get to, because like half it's 50, half it again it's 25, half it again it's 12, you know, 12. But I just throw it in there and hope for the best. Just throw a good little dab in instead of doing all that. And again, you want to push the hardener into it. You don't want to stir. You don't want to stir it. You will get air bubbles. And for the board you're using, I know a lot of guys use cardboard, stuff like that. They tell you not to use anything porous. It does pick up the fibers in the from the cardboard and stuff. Will pick up into the Bondo body filler, whatever you want to call it. Cheese. Back in the old days, all the old guys used to call it cheese. Car's got a lot of cheese in it. So you want to mix this till you get a nice even color. I'm going to put a little more in. Yeah, you get a nice even color. Again, you don't want to stir it. You want to pull it over, push it into itself kind of deal. And I'd say, I don't know, depending on the hardener, I don't usually get more than 5 minutes out of spreading this before it starts to harden on me. So you do want to work pretty quickly. Yeah, I'm going to try that. So I'll try to spread a little on here to show you the way I'm going to do it. Just dab it on, get it on there. Spread it across. Oh, I'm losing it all over the ground. Made it too soupy, I guess. I dab it on there. I don't know if there's, well, there's obviously better ways to do it. Proper ways. Oh man, I made this way too soupy. Too carried away. And I think you just want to cover your whole area, cover your whole area, one side to the other, so you can get a nice feather off when it comes time to sand it off. Something like that, I would say, for the one part. Alright, I started spreading along that door. So I would do Bondo right from that line down. I only put a few patches in, but you might as well do the whole bottom of that door, and then it's consistent all the way when you sand it. Ran out of, I'm going to have to mix some more. Got back here a little bit put on. But the Bondo started drying, and my hands were full of Bondo, and so I couldn't take you with me on that, but filled that in, a little bit down there, started filling in. So I'm going to have to mix up a little bit more, go over, forgot to do this spot. And then there's all kinds of little nicks in the paint and stuff like that that you can touch up with the filler. You can buy spot putty for that, but it's expensive, and I don't know, same stuff I think. Not sure what I'm gonna do with all this plastic yet. I'm hoping this fiberglass, I put fiberglass on there. I'm hoping it's gonna stick, but it seems to be sticking now, or hopefully it's gonna last. A lot of spider webbing on this car. To sand all that out, it's everywhere. It's gonna take forever. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this nose cone. These things are just, they sell replacement fiberglass ones now. They're not soft, they're not the poly urethane ones, and they don't crack like that because they're rigid. These are, you know, you push on them, they move. So they seem to spider web. Anyway, I'm hoping that fiberglass sticks to that and I can just paint over it. But anyway, I'm gonna mix up some more and I'll get that on there, let it dry, and start sanding it off. And like I said, I don't know. This is the way I'm spreading it on. I'm sure there's a better way to do it. I see some guys putting it even in the little, with their fingers, they get right into it, into the little grooves and everything. So I don't know, as long as you get enough on that you can sand off smooth. I mean, you're wasting material that way if you're gobbing it on, but if it's on there and it sticks and you sand it off smooth, it's on, right? So I don't know. Whatever works for you. This is the way I'm doing it. I'm sure there's, like I said, I'm sure there's a way more professional way to do it. But that's it. All right, so this patch, I'm going to sand that. If it doesn't feather off nice, this patch may end up being way bigger. It may end up being a lot bigger than that. I'm hoping it just sands off nice though. And yeah, it depends on how it looks when it's sanded down. But I've got the Bondo spread all over where I've made my repairs and any kind of little picks in the paint and stuff. I only did a small repair there, but I think it's better to Bondo the whole panel and then sand it smooth like I did with the bottom of this door. You go right across from the body line down, and then same with that fender. I only did a small panel patch there, but Bondo the whole thing, sand it smooth. And then probably have to do a coat or two after that. I'm not sure. Depends how it looks. I have some low spots in there, may have to fill up. But it's coming together, and then I got to figure out paint still on that Rust-Oleum idea, or the trim clad, or whatever. Everybody calls it something different these days, but anyway. Yeah, no, it's I'm no Bondo expert by any means, or body filler expert, but it should turn out okay. For what I'm doing, it's just a little daily driver, beat around car. It's nothing, it's not a show car. It's not entering any competitions. So yeah, yeah, that's it for a quick little Bondo video. I know I didn't get any spreading in the video because it's really messy and I don't have a camera person, and I didn't want to get my phone full of Bondo. But you get the gist of it. You just spread it on the best you can, get it as smooth as you can, and don't make it too runny like I did the first batch. But yeah, thanks for watching. And this is not a tutorial, like I said. Take what you want out of it. All right, I thought I was recording when I was doing some sanding, but I wasn't. So the low spots are gone here. Can you remember the dark areas? You always can see the low spots. This is a rough 60 grit sanding. I should have done 40, but I don't have any 40. The low spots are gone here. You can tell that was gone. Took it back to the metal here because of the body line, I guess, but it's all nice and straight. Fix that. The door still has a little low spot in through that, just underneath the body line. I got to straighten up, so that'll take another coat, but it went on nice. It's nice, and I don't feel any ridges or waves, so it's sanded off nice. You can see the this is the fiberglass filler I put on first coming through, and then this is filling in the low spots where the fiberglass didn't get. So it's coming in, and more fiberglass down here. It's coming along. Started doing a sand coat down there. This is all gonna need another coat. Freaking raining again. This is the 5th day of straight rain for us. It's insane. I got the door kind of sanded along, and that fender. You can see some high spots right there. That we can see the metal coming through, right there. So I'm gonna have to do another skim coat over that because you got some low spots beside it. Now I didn't. Did I put a patch in that fender? I can't. Yeah, I did. So, and then back here, same thing. Got a couple low spots from the line of the spreader I was using. Otherwise, it's nice. It worked out really well back here. So I'm just gonna fill in the lines. The spreader. I should always use a new spreader. This old spreader I'm using is always clean your. I don't know if anybody's ever done, you know, drywall work and stuff, and you get little specks of hard stuff in there, and it creates those ridges and lines. But anyway, this is old, beat up old. They're cheap. I just didn't have any more. I scraped this off, but I would take a sander, sand it down, smooth again if you're going to reuse this, and scrape this and clean it. Always try to use the cleanest tools, obviously. Yeah, there was a chip in the paint there, filled in over nicely. Yeah, I say one more coat of the Bondo, and we're good. So I'm super happy with that. And then I got to work on this bumper, getting rid of, I don't know, all these spider cracks or whatever, spider web cracking, whatever people call it. I got rid of some of them. I'm grinding them out. When you grind them out, it leaves divots. You know, it's lower and you need something to fill it. Now I think they do sell a polyurethane fill. It's like a hot glue kind of thing, but I put this fiberglass on and it seems to be holding, so I'm just going to do fiberglass, and whatever, if it works it works, if it doesn't it doesn't. That's lesson learned, I guess, right? So yeah, that's all I really got for today. I didn't get much footage of me doing anything, but the car is coming along and it's almost ready to be painted. Well, sanded a few more times, maybe primered, sanded again, and then painted. I'm not sure. Depends what route we're going to go with the paint job, obviously. And then paint the wheels, clean the wheels and paint the wheels too, maybe. And that's about it. So anyway, thanks for following along, and on my little Camaro journey here. Picked up a bunch of wood and concrete today. I'm going to build an addition on the back of the barn. And again, thank everybody for the old 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. Amazing. Yeah, so I'm going to build a lean-to on the back of the barn, a shop, whatever I'm in here. It was a horse barn. I turned it into a shop. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in and following along. Comment, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Hope everyone's having a great day.